Hey everyone, welcome back to Outside of Work, where we explore who we truly are beyond our job titles. I'm Gentrix. And wow, we are in fall. It is officially fall. It's officially freezing outside. I'm officially pissed. But I guess it's just how the next 4 or 5 months, however long this crazy cold weather is going to be. No major updates really for me, so we're going to get right into this interview. I had the pleasure of talking to the organization Old Ladies Against Underwater Garbage. I mean, just look at that name. How amazing is that? And I was first attracted to them because I saw a Facebook post about these old ladies, 64, 65 and older, up in Cape Cod in Massachusetts, who dive into their local freshwater ponds and pick up trash. You know, it reminded me of a story I did a couple years ago on a guy in Ohio who kind of did a similar thing. He would go out onto his local river. Why am I forgetting the name right now? Anyways, he would go out onto his local river in a kayak with a trash bag and just wade out into that nasty ass river and pick up garbage. Like from the sides, these are things that people just like have thrown in there, years of garbage, you know, that eventually like stream into people's water supply. That was his thing. So then I see these ladies and I'm like, hey yo, that is amazing. One, because I could barely swim, and two, because it looked like such a fun sisterhood. And I just knew I had to reach out to them. So I did. I reached out to Susan Baur. She's the founder of the organization. At a ripe 85 years old, she leads a group of at least 30 women, and they go to different ponds on the Cape and clean it up. In the conversation, you know, I asked, like, is it the sisterhood? Is it the garbage? Is it the swimming? Like, what is it that attracts these women to you guys? Because mind you, they have a wait list. They have a wait list of people wanting to join the organization. But, you know, Susan was telling me they want to keep it nice and small, and there's only so many people you can watch and resources that you can have. So there's a wait list. And she said to the answer, it's all of the above. But definitely the element of the garbage takes it to another level because, you know, you can have some old ladies holding hands, jumping out of an airplane, you know, getting into some kayaks, but there's a purpose to coming together to clean the waterways, to be one with nature, to literally like get away from life, from work, from family, from everything that is in the world right now and just flow. Like, how amazing does that sound? That sounds absolutely blissful. And something else that we talk about in this conversation is about finding your bliss. And, you know, I say, how do you find your bliss? And she says, it finds you. It finds you. You don't find it. I mean, geez, I'm not surprised I got so much wisdom from these women who have lived multiple lives, multiple experiences, and have come together in this organization, OLAUG, Old Ladies Against Underwater Garbage, to do something amazing. You know, just talking to them, they were itching to get back into the water. It's the off season now. It's October, obviously. It's freaking freezing out there in Massachusetts and, you know, here in the Northeast. And so during the off seasons, they go off and they teach communities about, you know, the garbage. They bring the garbage out, they show it to them, and they teach them. To date, they have collected 6,000 pounds. 6,000 pounds of garbage. That's a mountain. And they're not even close to being done. Susan said she's gonna keep doing this until she can't do it anymore. And so I spoke to Susan and I spoke to 2 other members, Marcy and Sarah. And they tell us about why they joined the organization, what it means to them, and how they have found their bliss. Susan is an author of oceanography books turned psychologist. She started OLAUG really on a whim in 2018 with like 4 or 5 friends, and now it's turned into this humongous organization. And she really started because of her love for swimming in the freshwater ponds near her home in Cape Cod. Marcy joined OLAUG after experiencing a lot in her life. She and her husband moved back to Cape Cod later in their life. He unfortunately passed away. She got cancer and she was looking for purpose. She was looking for something. And Sarah is newly retired. She was looking for something outside of her many jobs, her many careers, and outside of her family. And she found these ladies. And I have to confess, this is actually the second interview I did with them because the first one I did, my technology completely wonked out on me. I lost it. I was so mad because it was such a beautiful, beautiful conversation. It was so just free. And so the ladies were gracious enough to give me more of their time to redo that interview and get this to you guys, because I just think it's so important to hear that later on in life, it's not just nursing homes and sitting in a rocking chair and just waiting to die. It's literally finding activities, a sisterhood, something to do that brings you back to life. And so, without further ado, here are the old ladies against underwater garbage. I love these ladies. Let's go. Okay, well, take two. And the other time was just a warm up, Now you guys are all ready to go. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Seriously. I can't even explain enough how much it means to me that as you were saying, there's technical difficulties, and then he's got to try and work around them. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to start off with what I started off with last time, which is you each introducing yourselves and telling me who you are, because I believe that's the core of what this podcast is all about. When we're talking about outside of work, it is a journey of self-discovery. It is a journey of who the heck are we in this world? When you take away the job titles, when you take away, all these things that we grew up with, who really are we? And for you, Susan, you said you didn't really get to explore that until you were in your 50s. Can you explain more about that?
So my name is Susan Baur. I'm the founder of Old Ladies Against Underwater Garbage, which I got underway really just about by the time I turned 80. It really started. So I had spent a whole lot of time working. I'm a retired psychologist, and I loved my job. But it's one of those jobs that really tends to consume you. There wasn't a lot of time. I've always been athletic, so I ran or I swam. But aside from that, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I'd have a husband or a boyfriend or something. And it wasn't really until I formed OLAUG, which is what we call ourselves, that I began to understand the benefits and the just the wonder of having a sisterhood, having a tribe of people that were like me. I grew up at a time where achievement, I was born in 1940. And so when I graduated from high school in the late 50s and college in 61, you wanted an MRS degree. You wanted to be a wife and a mother. And that's what you were supposed to want. And I never really just found that so wonderful that I didn't want to do anything else. So I became a high achiever. I wanted a project. I wanted to write books. I've written 7 books. I wanted to run a half marathon. I wanted to do enough art to be in an art show. And I was leaving a lot of life behind because I was just turning everything into work in a way, turning everything into a project. And it wasn't until really I was in my 60s that I learned that if you're outside of work, really outside of work, even outside of your own work that you've given yourself, you get to sort of dance with life, with nature, with ponds, with whatever, and you engage with the parts of the world and the parts of life that you can't control. All you can do is watch and wonder. That was a huge change for me.
Absolutely. And for you, Marcy, how would you describe who you are?
I'm Marcy Johnson. I'm 74, and I would describe myself as an optimistic introvert. I worked for almost 20 years at a private school in a supervisory role of the Alumni and Development Office. I didn't throw myself into work. Unlike Susan, I coasted through work because it wasn't really my passion. That whole theory of find passion and follow it, and you'll be happy. Never found that in work. I finally found that after work with this group.
Yeah.
So I've been very lucky in that way.
Nice. So you think that whole thing is a myth, huh?
No, I think if you're lucky enough to find uh, a job that you're passionate about, no, I think that's a perfect fit. I just never found it. I think I should have been diving for trash when I was 20. It would have been much more fulfilling than I did a number of different jobs. None of them quite fit.
Nice. And Sarah, what would last time we talked, you said this was a bit of an existential question for you. Have you had a chance to think about, who are you?
Now I can't sleep at night. You got me thinking about it so much. But truly, I'll go back. I mean, I was being sincere before. I also have trouble with this find your passion question because I have never been able to really decide on a single one. I had a career in business and education and have relocated a lot over the past 30 years or so. I just seem to have a lot of passions. And what I love about OLAUG is that it kind of combines a lot of things I love to do. I have always kind of fed off other people's energy, and this crew has a ton of energy that I love. And so it gives me a huge amount of joy, much more than working ever did.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that makes me so happy, you guys. You guys have found this true passion that brings you joy, and you guys can't wait to literally dive into the water and grab garbage, And and so Susan, this all started because of your love for turtles, Yeah, tell us about that and how it's kind of evolved from there.
So when I moved to a place on Cape Cod where swimming in the ocean is dangerous, I switched to ponds, and they were muddy and they had very large snapping turtles in them and plants and fish and eels and stuff. So I actually, as I swam around, I used pieces of trash as markers. I sort of made underwater maps, and I would swim to where I knew there was a child's pail, and then I'd swim to where I knew there was a beer bottle. But then as I learned about turtles and found that they were as interested in me as I was interested in them, and they would come to me and I could tell different ones apart, then I tried to help them by going to towns and saying, can you stop dogs from running? In the beach, it's fine, but not in the weed. And can you stop people from dragging the fallen trees out because that's where the turtles hang out? Mm-hmm. And the answer was no, no, no. I couldn't make any progress there. And I thought, well, there's one thing I can do and nobody can stop me. And that is I can take the excess trash out, especially stuff like, I don't think turtles really mind beer bottles, but spent fireworks that are leaking perchlorates or car batteries, stuff like that. And so I got two people. We went around a pond. We got a bushel of trash. We thought, hey, we're a bunch of old ladies against underwater garbage. And then nothing happened for a couple of years. And then two more people came in, and there was really a band of 5. And we did 3 or 4 or 5 ponds a year, really the ones we were used to.
Yeah.
Then we held tryouts and went from 5 to 21 in 1 year. And that's when Marcy came on board. Sarah, did you come on in 23 or 24?
24.
Yeah. But by that time, then we have 30 people, and we don't want any more because we can't handle anymore. You have to have a really tight-knit group if you're going to sort of risk your life with each other.
How do you think diving has changed how you relate to the world?
For me, the great difference on how I related to the world came from swimming with turtles, which I couldn't control. I found them absolutely fascinating. I felt good. I felt I was a perfect person in the perfect world when I was hanging in front of these gorgeous little turtles who were looking at me and wanting to climb on my hands and using my arms as a slide. That's what changed my vision of my relationship to the world, that I am like one cell in a body the size of planet Earth.
Absolutely.
Forming OLAUG and finding these people, and every one of them just fits. I mean, it's like a bunch of Legos. They come in. If they don't fit, they drop off. If they fit, they click. And that to me has been a huge change because if Marcy is the optimistic introvert, I was the sort of cynical, nature is more fun to deal with than people. And now to have these people, I can't wait to be with them. I can't wait to talk to them. So that OLAUG's changed my sense of how much fun it is to be part of a group.
Absolutely. And it started in 2018, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And then was that when it was a couple years? Is that when it actually started picking up, or it started?
No. We did one dive in 2018, and then nothing happened for 2 years.
Gotcha.
Did a couple, 2021, 22, and then it really picked up. And if you think of it, it didn't pick up till 23. So we've had 23, 24, had 3 huge seasons. And we figure that we've taken roughly 6,000 pounds of trash out of ponds from 2018 to the present. That's a lot of tires, a lot of cement blocks, a lot of beer cans.
Yeah. That's a lot of trash. Wow.
That's a trash mountain.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, there's like over 800 freshwater ponds in Cape Cod, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. And Marcy, you came a bit early into the group. Tell me about that, because it seemed to be a pivotal moment in your life.
Yes, I'd had a major illness. I had cancer, and I also had lost my husband. So I was in a strange area to me. I had moved down to the Cape to retire and didn't know a lot of people. So finding this group was a diversion at first. I saw Susan speak at one of her events, and it just absolutely blew me away. The whole idea of the old ladies, and proud to be old ladies.
Exactly.
And I said, I'm going to join that group, and was able to go to the first set of tryouts, and luckily I passed, and it's been just a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I mean, you gave them a little bribe of cookies, but I think it was more than I think y'all vibed besides the cookies, right, Susan?
She's become a star, which is really interesting. I mean, even within those 30 people, you have everybody is a solid contributor, but we have like the super cheerleaders like Sarah with sparklers coming out of their heads. And it's so much fun to be with her. Every dive that she's on, it's like, oh, we've got Sarah. And then we've got the sort of quiet experts like Marcy. I mean, there's only 2 or 3 nobody dives as well as Marcy, and no one spots trash as well as Marcy. We think she's probably got some serious magnifying glasses into her.
I have attraction for trash.
Right.
I like that.
Distracted by shiny objects, right?
Yeah, easily distracted by shiny objects.
Then we have the speedsters who can say, "Oh yeah, you want me to swim a mile across that pond and then start back?" Yeah, okay. It's really cool how these weird talents shine.
Yeah. Like you said, it's a puzzle that comes together. If it fits, it fits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And real quick, Marcy, what were you looking for when you joined OLAUG? You said it was a distraction. So much was going on in your life. What was it that you were looking for? And do you feel like you found that?
I don't think I knew what I was looking for. I really didn't. I felt lost back at that period in time. And it just happened. I don't think anything just happens. I think it was meant to happen that I found this group. And it gave me a sense of belonging that I didn't have at the time. And also the ability to do something now in my life at this age and this stage that is good for the environment at the same time and having fun. Everything just kind of dropped in my lap, and it was wonderful.
Amazing. Oh, that's
You
amazing.
Gentrix, I was on a podcast last night and people were talking about how did I do this? Did I have a formula? And you just, you retire and then you do this, this, and this, and you're going to be happy. And after talking for a while, we agreed that you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost at certain points in life. And one of them is when you retire, and whether that's retire from a job or retire from being married because your husband dies, retire from being a mother because your kids go away. I think being lost toward the end of life is fortunately, a prerequisite for finding your bliss. I don't think we hop from mountaintop to mountaintop to mountaintop. I think you drop into the valley, into the darkness, and you get lost. And whether that's in your 60s, or whether that's in your 70s, whether it's in your 50s. But it's only if you can tolerate being lost and not knowing where you're going, are you then going to really notice, oh, here's something crazy, but attractive, whether it's a turtle or a group, and you go to it and you find something that you didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel as if it takes a lot of power to look outside of yourself and think, okay, let me try and figure this out. What is my bliss? What is it that I'm looking for? Because I feel, at least for me, I feel as if it's so easy to just kind of like wallow in yourself or just let the days keep on rolling by. And so to find that power, to find a group like you guys or to find something that brings you joy, I think that's really powerful.
You got to sort of be lost. You got to be, if you're lost, you see little points of light. If you're wandering around in the dark and you don't know where you are, you're going to be attracted to music. You're going to be attracted to little bits of light. You don't find your bliss as much as it finds you.
Yeah, because like you feel like maybe you don't even know what you're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're always busy, always working, I'm going to go from this job to that job. Then I'm going to go to that job. I got a list of 10 things I want to accomplish today. You can be lost and busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're lost and not busy. But if you're lost and busy, you don't have much of a chance of hearing that music, seeing that little tiny point of light and saying, oh, let's go this way.
Yeah. Gosh, that's so true. That's why it took me getting laid off to finally be like, oh my gosh, there's a whole world out here that I've been missing because I've just been hustling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. And for you, Sarah, you just retired.
And I did just retire.
Yeah. You said that you kind of forced into retirement. What do you mean? And then how did you find these ladies?
First of all, most of the work I do right now is freelance work for the government and, of course, writing grants for education. There just isn't a lot of money there. But I was also coming up to the Cape where the only people that I knew were my family. And, I love them, but I can't just hang around with them all the time. We're talking about starting this group and what Susan had to do. And I think that, thinking about that being lost moment and what are you going to do next? The thing that I so greatly admire was her ability to look around and say, if this is something I really love doing, let me put it out there to some other people too, because if it's something for me, then maybe it's something for many other people. And I often feel like looking at OLAUG, like what if you would put this concept out to a focus group?
Yeah.
People would have had all sort of criticism. You have to actually get in there and do it before you realize this is really something special.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you got? Do you now look at retirement a bit differently?
I do. And I, we're not used to doing something for the pure joy of doing it. We do it to make money or advance our career, even to, get some kind of acclaim from other people. And so to do something that is just purely for the fun of it, I don't think I expected how much other people sort of in my orbit would admire that I do this. I mean, my family and friends cannot talk enough about OLAUG. Every time they see me, they ask me about it in a way that they didn't care about my career that much.
Yeah, they're like, I forget that. Tell me about the toilet you pulled up. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of become my thing at the family gatherings that people want to talk about. And I kind of love that.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're excited to talk about it too. Sorry, Susan, go ahead.
One of our members, Maggie, at the CBS thing, said,
great piece, by the way.
We found the perfect cocktail. And the perfect cocktail is doing something that's good for the planet, so you're good. Doing it with a sisterhood, so you're really in a tight team. And doing something that is absolutely hilarious. And you have these three things where you've got purpose, you've got a physical challenge, you've got a sisterhood, and it's just crazy pants. What a great combination. And there aren't that many. You can't say to people who want to join us, oh, find your bliss by getting a nice big bag on your shoulder and going along the highway and picking up trash. Doesn't work. It's got to be that challenge. It's got to be in a beautiful place that you're not in control of. Ask Marcy about reaching for that manhole cover that turned out to be a snapping turtle.
It was a big one.
Marcy, you're all about nature. I remember you told me that you've loved nature since you were a kid. So getting to get back to it, I can't imagine how blissful that is.
It is wonderful. I mean, I'm not the only one that said this. I feel like I'm a kid when I'm doing this. I can remember as a 10-year-old diving down under the water to watch the fish and the turtles and just watching little worm things on the bottom. I don't even know what they were, but they were building little houses out of sand. And, thinking, wow, I think I'm the only one in the world that's ever seen this.
Wow.
And then realizing later, a lot of people knew about this, but for me, it was adventure and, unique, something I've never seen before. And I can say that I see that quite often now, but just, different things, but we always see something we don't expect.
Yeah.
And every single dive is an adventure that makes you feel like you're 10 years old.
Yeah. What do you think your mom would say? She was a big adventurer too. She was a big nature person as well, who kind of introduced you to that world. What would you think she would say? Do you think she would have joined you guys?
Absolutely. Yeah. She was a nature lover. She was a Rachel Carson fan back when that issue was coming on. I have a poem on my mantle that she was one of her favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she'd be all over the idea of doing something for nature.
Wow, that's awesome.
Sarah, do you have a parent who would have, one parent or the other, who would have just thought this was the best thing in the world?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, far and away, both of them. But I think my dad is the one who, my parents retired to Cape Cod, probably the reason that we have the house on Cape Cod. And just loved the environment, just, enjoyed his little spot of water view out of the window of the house. And I think would really enjoy the piece that was, again, part of what you didn't expect from this adventure. And that is going out to the ponds and meeting the people from the pond associations. I mean, they welcome us with open arms. Sometimes this is a smallish pond with 3 or 4 parking spaces. I mean, if not for this, we wouldn't get an opportunity to go there. But the people are out there greeting us and can't help themselves from starting to pick up garbage when we're there. And I think both of my parents would have loved to death that aspect of it.
Oh, that's amazing. And it's funny that now, I'm pretty, Susan, it feels as if you told me that in the beginning, the Pond Association told you to kick rocks. And now, was it them or was it someone else?
We've hit 2 pond associations where we have to jump through hoops and no, there isn't any trash here and we don't need you and we don't want that kind of publicity. And now every single one of them, I think, But I want to just do one more story that Mary Ann's father was a great athlete, and none of his kids were athletic except Mary Ann was. When she retired, she became a triathlete, and he was so proud of her. And she went down to Florida where he lived, and she said, "Dad, I'm trying out for this new group called Old Ladies Against Underwater Garbage. And I know I can swim and I know I can do that, but I'm not sure about the diving." So she was out in the pool and she had a mask and snorkel she'd never had before. And she started going up and down. He comes out and dumps the silver tray into the pool and says, "Okay, here's your practice." Such a neat, what a good dad.
Oh, I love that. He said, "Oh, you want to dive? Go ahead. Now go practice."
Here you go.
Yeah. That's amazing. And now break it down for me, ladies. This is a whole team effort to when it comes to the diving. So take me through the process, like from step one, and what everybody's role is in this process.
Usually I have been step one, and I'm happy to say that now other people have begun to help me out with this. But I say, okay, I want 15 ponds, I want 20 ponds for next year. So I've got to get people to go and scout them.
Yeah.
And then in the early days, it was easy. We knew that every pond had trash in it just about, and we'd do that. So 2 or 3 people, even no more than that, go out and they say, "Oh, I found 35 pieces. I found 70 pieces. Marcy recently has found a kitchen sink. We're going back for the kitchen sink." Another person's on a motorcycle. "Oh, yes, we've got that." So now we got a pond with trash in it. We know that.
Yeah.
So then there's a dive leader, and that person is responsible for finding out if there's a pond association there. If not, is there a town? Do we have to sign some contract to get parking? And the more well-known we become, the easier this becomes. So now almost everybody we talk to says, "Oh, I've heard of you guys. Sure, we'll give you a parking permit," or whatever. So then that dive leader says, "I need 8 swimmers. That means I need 4 kayakers. I need 4 extra kayaks from the homeowner association or from our auxiliary list. And here's the date we're going to do it. Here's the time. Hold on. There's too much vegetation here. If it's not done by the 15th of June, we're not going to be able to see anything." All sorts of considerations. And then it's up to her. We have a huge meeting where we sign up for all these different ponds, and then it becomes a time where they all gather. And I'll let the other people talk about the beach boss and the kayakers and what happens next. But there's a lot that goes on before we get to the pond.
And so, Sarah or Marcy, would you guys want to take over with like, the beach bosses, or like I like to call the boss bitches, and then and then the kayakers and everyone else?
Mary Alice would like that.
She would. Do you want to start, Marcy?
Sure. Which one do you want to start with?
I think the beach bosses. Because I think it's Let's start there.
We didn't have them in the beginning, and we realized as the group grew and our equipment grew and our training grew that we needed someone to be on the beach and be in charge of all the safety aspect of the swim. And the beach boss has a list of everyone swimming and everyone kayaking. And as we enter the water, she checks us off. And it's very important that when we come out of the water, she also checks us off. So we have the same number going in and coming out.
Yeah.
Our number one goal. She also has, as I said, all of the safety equipment. We have someone has donated an AED defibrillator to our group. So she always has that on hand. Extra gloves, extra trash bags, everything that we would need to help us along with our cleanup.
Absolutely. Okay. And then I guess what would the next one be? The kayakers?
The kayakers. So what goes on with a kayaker is we have a kayaker, generally speaking, for every couple of swimmers. And so they go out there and follow us. And when we find something, we get up and wave it. They've got big buckets with them and gloves and everything, and they pile it all into the kayak the best that they can. And some of our kayakers are quite amazing about exhibiting extreme enthusiasm for any small shred of anything that we have found on the bottom of the pond.
The cheerleaders.
That's very exciting too. Their job is kind of a messy one and demands more expertise than you would think. We have the kayakers run into us, or we more likely run into the kayaks. So they work very, very hard on keeping us safe and letting us know when it's time to go in, that we've got sort of a whole safety protocol going on so that the kayakers are have walkie-talkies and are signaling us when the dive's over, it's time to go in.
Absolutely.
And we never want to go in, so that's not simple.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys are out there like, no, I got one more. Diving
That's
back
what happens.
Marcy, I know you're a culprit.
Yes. I'm the last one. Well, Susan or I are usually the last ones out of the water. It's hard to, you can't swim over something. When you've been looking for trash and getting it for an hour, and then you see the perfect beer can, you just can't not go down and get it.
So true. So true. Stuffing it in your swimsuit.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I know you guys want to include a strength training portion to this for you guys. But what do you think that will help you guys with?
Aging. Take protein powder, do strength training. What the group puts on is that we rent 2 lanes in a YMCA once a month or 4 months, so that people are ready to go when June comes or late May comes. Because if you don't swim all winter long, you're not going to hop in the water and swim a mile. I mean, we're old. Every year, someone has breast cancer, someone has cataract surgery, someone has wound care, someone has, we actually are old. But we've learned, the sort of algorithm of aging. Don't do anything violent without building up to it slowly. Do it safely, do it carefully. Yeah. So we intend to hang in for as long as possible. I'm out there in front in the age department thinking, oh crap, how am I going to hang on here and still be diving at 90 and, yes, dear, come on, there's a big hand. 3 feet, I can do it. So,
you're still going to be out there at 90, Susan?
Yes, I am. I'm going to be one of the golden guppies. Where give her about the 3-foot mark or the 4-foot mark, and I'll probably figure out how to get with my toes. And there's another one.
I love it. Doing it till the end. I love it. And then I kind of want to do like a quick speed round like we did last time of trash talk. So let's do a piece of trash that you've pulled that you talk about all the time.
I had a not very trashy leg, and I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself that I was only getting beer bottles and stuff like that, and the visibility was tough. So I wasn't doing the dive every once in a while. You just get such a good place. But on the way back, and I'd gone over this area before, there was this little, just not the right texture, and I went down, and there was a rubber alligator about that big. And I was so happy to get an alligator because I knew nobody else was going to get an alligator from Lawrence Pond. So that made me, I like the toys, the squirt guns, the decapitated baby doll heads, the weird stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. What about you, Marcy?
I like the big stuff. The heavy stuff and the big stuff, the tires, car battery, things like that.
Docks.
And pieces of docks. things that's going to make it difficult for the kayaker to get back in with.
Yeah. You like a challenge.
Challenge for me.
Yeah.
There is one item that I do want to get, and I've seen it. I saw it during a scouting expedition, besides the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
A frying pan, which should go very well with the kitchen that we're putting together here. But I know that frying pan's there. I kind of know about where it is.
Yeah.
But nobody's been able to find it since the scouting trip. So.
So do you guys go back to certain ponds as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's two reasons for it. One, if it's really trashy and we realize that we haven't gotten it all. So there's one reason. Another reason is that we've got one pond where it's an experiment and it's a big pond. So we launch from 3 different places and we cover, I would say, probably close to a mile of shoreline with the 3 teams, each, going a half an hour. And we're going to keep doing that every single year until we don't get any trash. How long is that going to take?
Yeah.
We've actually done 5 or 6 dives there, but that's because we started with small ones. So we've done at least 3 full years of all the way around this pond, and we're still getting enormous amounts, but older and older stuff.
That's so interesting, because then you think like, these are just like little ponds that we're talking about. Imagine like these larger rivers, these larger bodies of waters that we have, they're just filled with trash. And it's taking you guys at least, 3 years to clean up the one in your own backyard. I don't know, it just has me thinking like, my gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing to our waters?
What you got to remember is that this pond, Jenkins Pond, is probably about a mile from end to end. Maybe 3/4 of a mile from end to end. It's a good sized pond, but it's been there for roughly 8,000 years when the glacier moved, and there have been people living around it for, say, 4,000 years, 4,000 years, and there have been people living on it for 300 or 400 years, and it's just the easy thing to do. So the ice fishermen, literally 125 years ago, 1900, you go out, you put your little shack out there, you drill a hole, you chop a hole, you do the fishing, you drink your beer. You do that for 2 months because it was really cold then. And the beer bottles pile up, and nobody said, oh, let's recycle those.
Yeah.
And so spring comes and down it goes. And if you multiply that single episode by 1,000 of all the different people around the pond rolling the tire off the dock,
endless.
Shooting fireworks look beautiful over the water. It's so safe. Splat, splat, splat. And then golf came along. It's that nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah, that's so true. When you put all that context together, that makes a lot of sense. It kind of seems endless in a way. And for you, Sarah, what's the trash that you pulled up that you can't stop talking about?
Well, like Marcy, I like the big things that aren't going to fit on the kayak. There's a real thrill in that. Sparkly things are awesome. And I particularly love shoes because you find one and you kind of think the other one's out there somewhere. And sometimes you find it and sometimes you don't. But my best shoe swim, I got 5 shoes in one swim, which was impressive. And there must be one more.
Sarah, sign up for Mystic Lake.
Okay.
I did the scouting. I had 2 high tops. They don't match. I mean, they must be.
That's a
15.
challenge.
They're enormous.
I love that you guys are already looking forward to like the next dives. Like you look, it seems like you're itching. You're just like, this winter season's really, here now. Okay, awesome. And then, Susan, 7 years later, did you ever? You started this on a whim with some friends. Did you ever think it would be as big as it is, with as many chapters as there want to be out there? You inspiring so many people around the country and the world.
Absolutely not. And the funny thing is that because I've written books, I have tried very hard to sell my ideas, if you will, attract attention? Can I get into this newspaper? Can I get into this magazine or something? And I've always been pretty bad at it, you know. And all of a sudden, I can't fail with this idea. And it's not me, it's this idea, this cocktail of physical challenge and joy and purpose and comedy. And so what really has me scratching my head every day is, how did this great idea, it's not me, it's the idea. And it's just like, boy, if you've got the right idea, and I think, I suppose because I was a psychologist, I know that there's a hunger, and it's a hunger that's growing and growing. The more time you spend in front of a screen is the more time you're not on an adventure. Yeah. You're not in the real world. The real world, you have skin in the game. You are walking, you are being rained on, you're doing something. And we represent being real. Our name, what we do it in any weather. We're the lucky ones.
Wow. And, kind of wrapping it up, because I think I have a couple more minutes with you guys. I would just love for you guys to take me through what it's like to be out there in the ponds, to be diving, going in and out, coming back, finding trash. Can you please take me through your experience, your bliss, your flow, whatever it is that you experience when you're in the water doing what it is that you love? Marcy, if you want to start.
It's hard to bring that reality out just talking about it. But you get in the water, you start your exercising, so your blood's starting to flow. You're starting to see things that you think that you could get. You're seeing the beams of light coming down through the water. You're seeing the plant life. You're seeing the fish, the turtles. But you're also just focused on that bottom, and repetitively going down to check out the shiny thing or the long or square or round thing, something that doesn't look natural. So you're diving down to get it, pulling it up. You're calling over your fellow swimmers to get the big things because it's too heavy for you to do it by yourself. Putting things onto the kayak. It's just, you lose yourself. You lose yourself for it. They say it's been 40 minutes. It feels like it was 10. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. What about you, Sarah?
I would say everything that Marcy said, and certainly, as Susan said earlier, you can't control this. We do all the planning in the world, and maybe it's going to be a sunny day, and maybe it looks like there's going to be a thunderstorm in a minute. So once we decide we're going forward, you do lose yourself to the process and just be in it. But it does, your eye looks at nature a little bit differently when you're doing this, and you are looking for hard edges that might not occur organically. And maybe that's a brick then. You can't always tell clearly. But it is definitely something that you lose yourself in 100%. You've got, the awareness of whoever else is on your team from time to time. But I would say pretty much 100% of the time, I need to be reminded it's time to go in because I'm just so involved in it. It also... it's very hard to stop doing it. Once you're looking for trash and it's time to swim in, even if it's something extremely small and maybe not that important like a golf ball, it's almost impossible to swim on by and leave it there. It becomes almost that compulsive that you've got to get it all, which is part of the fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, Susan?
For me, because often I feel responsible for the whole dive, I'm often really busy just before we go in the water. So it's, do I have the kayaks? No, don't go in yet. Wait, so-and-so will tell you when to go, blah, 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 blah. I finally wade in the water. I rinse my mask. I pop it on my head. And every single time, as soon as my face hits the water, it's just this sigh of relief because I'm in a new world. I'm in a different world. I have no responsibilities to anybody. Screw them all. They can, go off in the wrong direction. It's just whether it's scouting, whether it's a big dive, whether it's a small dive, I love that world so much, that watery green, wavy glass. It's like swimming in a paperweight. Everything is bigger. It's shinier. It's glassier. And my face hits that water and it's like, yes. And then I'm free. I really sets me free. And off I go to whatever. It's being alive.
Mm.
You realize in a sense you're only half alive because you're so busy and when you're on land. But when you're in the water, you are really 100% aware, 100% alive, 100% willing, just 100% happy.
Wow. Definitely in the moment. That sounds so nice. That sounds so blissful. I'm glad that, that you started this so long ago, Susan, not knowing where it was going to go, just for your love of turtles, for the love of, the water and the scientific discoveries and everything that you were, seeing. And now it's turned into this community. It brought Marcy, it brought Sarah, it brought all the 30 other women and the long waiting list that you have, by the way, which is crazy, of people wanting to join this. And so I'm not surprised at all that, you've got as much popularity as you have.
And you come to the Cape. We'll take you out on a scouting expedition.
Please. I mean, I'm not the best swimmer. I'm going to just say that right now. I could swim to survive, but I'll work on it. I'll work on my diving.
We'll put a life vest on you and tow you along and you'll be able to see the garbage.
There you go. See, I could do that. I could like I'm snorkeling. I could look down below. All right, ladies. Thank you so much. I mean, this has been just amazing. And please tell people how they can find you.
Our website is olaug-ma.com or olaug-ma.com. We have a great website.
And I'll put the Instagram and Facebook as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put all those links in the show description so people can find you. They can cheer you on. They can. I know you don't have a donation button yet, which I hope you do get soon.
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yes, it's on there. It's working. Yeah, we got it on that day.
Look at that. When we were talking, that's crazy. Look at that development. That's amazing. But I'll join you ladies in 33 years, 34 years, and we'll have some good times. But until then,
you better get on the waiting list right now.
No, seriously. That's how long it's going to take.
You and your boyfriend have to come up to the Cape.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Aw, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you wanted to share that I missed or anything?
That we do it for free.
Oh, yeah. We work for cookies.
That sounds like good compensation to me. All right. Amazing. Thank you, ladies. And I hope you have a great day. And I'll talk to you guys later. Hey there, one more thing before you go. First, thank you so much for watching and listening. You didn't have to. You could have done literally anything else with your time. So I am so appreciative. Number two, if you liked what you heard or you resonated with anything, please like, comment, subscribe. Do all the things. All the links will be in the show notes so we can continue exploring this wild, weird, wacky, and awesomely wonderful world outside of work.
They didn't care about my career that much.
Yeah, they were like, I forget that. Tell me about the toilet you pulled up.